Hi everyone. In this video, we have another exciting use case for Waldiez, where we will showcase how workflow merging works. Workflow merging is a truly powerful feature because it allows you to reuse parts from existing Waldiez workflows so that you don't need to always develop everything from scratch. This significantly accelerates workflow orchestration, is especially useful to rapid prototyping. So let's get down to it. And today we will be working with two previously designed workflows, one where AI agents collaborate to compose an ethical and SEO fine-tuned blog post using a reflection skill, and another one where AI agents collaborate to onboard a new customer. If you haven't checked out any of these workflows already and you wish to learn how to create them from scratch, do check them out and follow along our step-by-step process. The links for both videos will either pop up now if you're on YouTube or will be included in the description if you're watching this on LinkedIn. So let's merge some workflows. We start by duplicating the existing blog post workflow and renaming it to Reflection NIM 2. On the left bottom menu of the screen, you will find options to import and export Waldiez. We can directly import a file saved locally in our computer, but we can also import from a URL. So let's switch tabs for a minute and go to the Waldiez Jupyter repository on GitHub, where you can access all our Waldiez files for all our use cases. Let's go ahead and find the onboarding workflow, select the entire URL, and then copy and paste it on the other tab under Load and then Next. Now, Waldiez gives us the option to import everything. This includes the workflow, the connections, the agents, and all that jazz, but also feel free to deselect this option and browse through the full list of components and select if you want the mode alone, the skills alone, the agents alone, or a combination. For our example, we imported everything, and now everything has been loaded into the Waldiez environment. At the beginning, everything looks a little bit messy, so let's drag and drop the newcomers to the left and separate them from the blog workflow on the right. On a side note, the recently ported workflow does not have an index. The existing workflow has kept its indices. We will address that in a little bit. Let's do some housekeeping in terms of the agents first, because we currently have two assistant agents, one from the onboarding workflow and one as the critic from the blog writing workflow. We don't need the onboarding agent anymore, so let's remove the connection in the agent. We also don't need the other assistant agent, the critic, but if you do remove it, you will also lose the connection. So let's undo that, Control Z, and instead, let's first drag and drop the connections that this agent has directly to the customer proxy, who will serve as the critic. So slowly all the connections will be reallocated to the customer proxy agent. And after everything has been reallocated, then it is safe to say bye-bye to the assistant agent that served as the critic. Now that we have the new agent workflow orchestration design, we need to update the names for each connection because the critic no longer exists. Mind you that the names here don't really impact how the flow will perform, but we will go ahead and click on each connection and rename them to make sure the user is the agent that sends to the writer. We will change the names in all the connections because if we were to design a larger, more complex flow, these names would serve as a rigid reminder of the workflow steps. So you will see that we're being deliberate about renaming critics into users everywhere, and we recommend that you do the same. Now, all the connections are now set up as a nested chat, and that's why you see all the dotted lines, but they will need to be configured on the customer proxy. So we click on the agent, we go into the nested chat tab to select our triggers. We will select trigger by the writer, of course, and then set up our pipeline. First, the search engine optimizer, then the legal reviewer, then the ethics reviewer, and finally the meta reviewer. So now the nested chats are all set. The next thing to do is configure the connection to the writer. So let's click on that one and enable reflection with LLM. We want the customer data to be passed down to our writer agent in JSON format. So the summary role will be the user. And let's also go to the message tab and change the system message, the prompt, to write a concise but engaging blog post, not about deep learning AI, sorry Andrew Yang and team, but about the topic of interest of the client, that one that will be imported, passed down by the client. Now, 2 more things to tweak before we run our merge workflow. Let's go to the models menu to see all the models currently in use. All the models have been uploaded from the second workflow. The API keys have been removed and replaced with a capitalized message, replace me, so that you don't share or publish your Waldiez and accidentally also share your API key as well. If you do want to use these models, you'd need to reinsert the key. In our example, we will delete them and only go ahead with the NIM services llama model. Back to our agents tab. We will now assign the model on the personal information agent as well as the topic preference agent because they did not have a model anymore. Both of them now are assigned to our model. And now the final step is to tweak the flow to make sure the messages from the first 2 agents are included in the pipeline. So let's go to the edit flow option on the left menu and add the steps to send the personal information to the customer proxy and also sending the topic preference to the customer proxy as well. And voila, we have connected everything and we're ready to test what we have created. So let's run our new workflow and capture the initial user input. Let's see how it works. So who am I? I'm Stella from Athens, and hit submit. Now I'm being asked about my topic of interest, and being a huge nerd, I like multi-agent systems. Hopefully everyone likes multi-agent systems. Now the JSON is created and will be forwarded by the user proxy to the writer. Let's see what the writer says. Okay, so it writes a blog post about unlocking the power of collaboration, exploring multi-agent systems. As I sit in the vibrant city of Athens, surrounded by the rich history of human innovation, etc., etc. So it has combined the information that we have provided. We don't need to provide any additional information, so let's hit submit, and this initial version of the blog post will be forwarded to the reviewers. This pop-up for user input appeared because we set user input to always, so you can configure that. First in line is the search optimizer. It says here's how we can improve this, include some keywords, and then this is sent to the legal reviewer that says we should add a disclaimer for intellectual property, and then to the ethics reviewer to avoid compromising benefits and ensuring transparency. And right after the ethics reviewer, it will go to the meta reviewer, the agent that summarizes everything and revises the content change needs in bullet points 1 through 5. And then all this is sent to the writer. The writer agent provides the final blog post about revolutionizing complex problem solving, the power challenges of multi-agent systems, having also integrated all the recommendations provided by the group of reviewers. So what you have seen today is Waldiez on steroids. Workflow merging is a super exciting feature that helps you tie pieces together and create more complex workflows. It's one of the reasons you'll hear us talk about Waldiez as the Lego bricks of multi-agent workflow orchestration. Stay tuned for our next releases, and if you like our work, give us a star on our GitHub repository, follow us on LinkedIn, and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel.